You get stale.
Popcorn.
You forget about things like stale.
Popcorn, stale popcorn.
Popcorn.
This is the
Stale popcorn.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stale Popcorn Podcast. I'm your host, Steven, and with me as always is my co-host, my good time boy, Christopher. Christopher, how you living, my guy?
I'm good. I feel like this isn't the first time you've called me your good time boy. What is a good time boy exactly?
Have you seen What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show with Matthew Berry?
And I haven't.
Maybe I'll send you the clip. He's like, he's my cheese. He's my good time boy.
He's my homeboy, my rotten soldier. He's my sweet cheese, my good time boy.
Well, I'm flattered to be your good time boy, but I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Stuck inside, jefe. I'm tired.
What?
I'm tired, man.
What did you say? Stuck inside?
No, I said...
That's what it sounded like.
No, I said, estoy cansado, jefe. Means I'm tired.
Stuck inside.
Yeah, that too.
You see Danny Trejo's getting into fights these days?
No,
that's like
what?
An 80-year-old. I saw some random clip of Danny Trejo just him fighting some guy because he threw a water balloon at his car.
Oh, man.
Something.
Good on him, I guess.
Good for him,
yeah.
You know, Uncle from Spy Kids, Machete.
Machete. His most notorious work. Anyway, Chris.
I agree. Yes.
You got new movie news for me?
Well, movie news, sure. You heard this film, Longlegs?
Indeed, yes. I've heard of it.
I keep hearing it's supposed to be the scariest movie of this decade.
Mm.
And it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
Described as one of the most terrifying movies of the decade that'll leave audiences so horrified that they become sick to their stomachs.
Eek.
Are you going to watch it? Are you going to be horrified?
Maybe. I don't know. I used to be a big horror guy, but not as much anymore. I get scared too easily, sir.
Yeah, I was kind of excited to watch it with my wife because she's a real horror nut.
Yeah.
And we had her mom over here, so we kind of had a babysitter. We both got that, how I mentioned, we got the Regal Unlimited.
Sure.
And, but then her mom is leaving before the movie comes out, like 2 days before. So if I go see it, I'm going to have to sit there by myself. And I don't know if I might be too afraid if it's the scariest movie of the decade.
Yeah. What's the last, big time, scary time movie that you've seen?
I mean, I haven't been scared since...
The Bye-Bye Man?
Bye-Bye Man, maybe Monster Trucks. I seen a movie called Talk to Me, I believe.
Do they have to shake a hand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see it?
I seen a recap video, so basically...
That one was kind of spooky. I don't know if it really scared me.
I think Barbarian comes to mind.
Ooh, yeah, that one was pretty spooky. Yeah, it might be that one, actually.
Yeah.
A Quiet Place Day One, ever heard of it?
Vaguely, yes, indeed.
It debuted with 98.5 million at the worldwide box office.
Ooh,
biggest opening yet for the franchise.
Just shy of the triple dig.
The triple dig, and film's budget was 67. And also another thing I saw, they already have the digital release date. It's in 3 weeks. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
I made 100 mil and you're already telling people, hey, 3 weeks.
Just wait.
Why would you go see it in theater?
Back in my day, you'd have to wait a good 6 months and it's changed.
I know. You wait 6 months and it was just, you had to wait. They'd do normal theaters for 3 months. They'd throw it in those cheap theaters for a few months and then you get your shot.
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan says the pitch for Trap was, quote, what if Silence of the Lambs happened at a Taylor Swift concert? I know there's safety in IP, but I want the industry to move towards more original storytelling.
Interesting. And an executive heard that and was like, "Yep, green light.
Yeah,
I heard Taylor Swift. Let's do it."
yeah.
And then M. Night's like, "Well, bear in mind, it's not going to have Taylor Swift." And he said, "You had me at Taylor Swift."
Yeah.
Good sir.
Say no more. Taylor Swift. Here we go. The Bear season 3 had 5.4 million views in its first 4 days, the biggest Hulu TV series premiere ever.
Wow. Right behind something else.
It's the highest, so it's not behind anything. I
right
don't know
in
if you know how the rankings
sorry.
work. Right in front of Shogun?
Oh,
I don't know.
Fair enough.
I just threw a guess. I'm trying to think of any other Hulu shows. Yeah, I don't really know any other Hulus.
I can't even, gun to my head, I couldn't think of. Details, something about Details murder.
They did Castle Rock or something, that Stephen King one. Did you watch that with us back in college?
Yeah, I think so. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, I think that was a Hulu. Andrew Lincoln, you know the fan, the man,
Coral.
He thinks that they may have went too far. Spoiler for The Walking Dead here. When Glenn dies. That might have been when we over-egged the omelet.
Interesting.
Probably said it in his
phrase.
British accents or
Over-egged
whatever.
the omelette, isn't it, bruv?
Yeah.
At that moment in time, I look at it as I said, Lincoln, we got to think to ourselves, we've overdone it. We've overbeaten the omelette into an egg.
Might have been when we over-egged the omelets.
Over-egged it. Yeah, no, you over-egged it a few seasons before that.
Yeah, I think when they were milking those, or when they were laying
still
those
in the jail
eggs on
for
the farm,
3
that
seasons.
was kind of when they were, I think that was when they were over-egging it, but easy done. Now this, I feel like, is a personal attack on me. Michael Rooker.
Yes.
You know him? Star from that hit show, The Walking Dead, that we're speaking.
Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, he was Merle, I believe?
Merle, yeah.
Michael Rooker says TikTok has ruined the attention span of moviegoers. Quote, everything is 90 minutes now. Get over that. Watch a movie that actually tells a story where you grow to like the characters or hate them. Learn what it's like to watch real cinema. And I'm like, hey, man.
Hey, yeah, it's well, 2 things. He's coming after you personally, but it also sounds like he's listening to our show. So thanks for listening, Michael.
Yeah, big fat. I wouldn't say, what's the hero that's not a true hero?
Anti-hero.
Anti. He's a real anti-hero of the show here.
Yeah. But I think he kind of does have a point sometimes.
I love the 90 minutes. He's in a movie called Horizon, I believe. You heard of this?
No.
I've seen trailers. It's the Kevin Costner Western flick.
Oh,
it's got a bunch of
the
actors.
2-parter. Yeah, sure. Kevin Costner's trying to bring Westerns back to the theater. Good luck, bucko.
Yeah, I remember seeing it, thinking it had a pretty good cast, but review-wise, it hasn't really hit. It's only, we're talking, I guess it's 46% audience, 71. Maybe I'll take a look here, but Leslie Headland reacts to the Acolyte being review bombed. Now, Steve, I haven't seen the show. Is Leslie Headland, is that the main Acolyte?
She's the creator, writer, head honcho of the whole shebang.
The head honcho.
What'd she say?
She says, quote, I was like, does anyone take that seriously anymore? I understand the point of it, which is that the average viewer would look at the site and say, oh, the user review is really low. But I think that if you're in the Star Wars fandom, I think you already know that what review bombing is. So I guess you're totally new to the fandom and you're considering watching the show. It could affect you.
Interesting. Yeah.
So you think, is it a review bomb here, or is it just not a good show?
Like some people, 2 truths can be at the same time because
yep, that's how the saying goes. I think
that's the old saying. No, so I saw a tweet that it was like 4 minutes after the newest episode released, it just has like negative 1,000 stars. Like it's like nobody even seen the episode.
bots.
Yeah, so I think
They
to an
got
extent
engines.
it is true, but on the other side of the spectrum, it's simply just not a good show. And we'll talk about it when the full thing's over. So I think, so she's like, Star Wars fans know that it's review bombing. You know, you got one side of the fan base that's just like hating on it because it's crappy, but on the other side it is kind of crappy. And then there are people who are like, hey, it's all right, that's good, whatever. But I don't think I've heard anyone say like, this is Star Wars, like this is where we're going now. You know, anyway, yeah.
Yeah, looking at the reviews here on Rotten Tomatoes, 83% critic, 14% audience.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Your average lunch pail Joe who's like, yeah, I know what Star Wars is. Like, I liked it as a kid, but I'm not really that much into it anymore. I see it as just a show, and as a show standing alone, it's like there are much better things to watch than this.
Yes. Emma Roberts says, Madam Web would have turned out better if everyone didn't meme about it. Quote, if it wasn't for internet culture and everything being made into a joke, I think that the reception would have been different. And that's what bums me out about a lot of stuff. Even stuff that I've done, is people just make such a joke out of everything now.
Respectfully,
how are you feeling
Emma,
about that?
You're wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you can't
I feel like we make some good points in our, not to plug our own podcast here, but if you guys haven't heard of the Stale Popcorn podcast, they do a great breakdown of Madam Web.
Of how
in an
terrible
episode
that
dating
movie
back
is.
a few months ago.
I forgot she was in that until you spoke of her name just not 2 minutes
Aunt
ago.
May. Yep, with the deadbeat Uncle Ben that's nowhere to be seen. Or no. Uncle.
Is it? No. How does he play into that?
It's Peter's mom.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
She's Spider-Man's mom.
Sure.
With a deadbeat, whoever Peter's dad's name is. They got another highest grossing opening weekends for the year.
Ooh.
And Quiet Place Day 1 was number 8. Wedged right in between Bad Boys 4 and Ghostbusters.
Okay. Fair enough.
And that's all I got for announcements, Steve. You got any?
I got a couple, myself. Did you know December 2026 is going to be the release of 3 big boy movies? We got The Batman Part 2. We got new Star Wars movie featuring Rey Skywalker. And then we got the third installment, Dune Messiah, all set to release December 2026. Now, Chris, if you had to choose, gun to your head, which one would you see of those?
Ooh, probably Dune.
Dune Messiah?
Yeah, it's Danny V,
Danny
right?
V's coming back. Bearing in mind, I think this is the one where Paul Atreides' son turns into a half sandworm, half person.
Spoiler.
Nah.
I didn't even know he had a son.
Well, there you go. I love spoiling things. You know that about
I
me.
didn't even know his name was Paul. Yeah. It's the Batman with
Robert P.
Robert.
Yeah.
Doing a sequel for that.
Yeah.
And is it going to be episode 10 for Star Wars?
I think so. I think that's the rumor mill. That's what's happening. But yeah, so for me, I'd probably see Batman 2, TBH. Just because...
really? I thought you were a big Dune
Listen, I love me
man.
some Dune, but I like me some R. Pats in that suit, bruv. I want to see what they do with it, you know?
I saw the Batman once in theaters. Didn't hate it, but I haven't really had a desire to see
Listen,
it again.
I know why you don't like it. It's because it could be 2 of your little movies, your hour-and-a-half movies.
I just remember, from what I remember, is they just play the same like background music, and it's a lot of slow walking. Yeah, and it's like boom. Well, they have that, which I love that. That's a good song. You can throw it in any trailer.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the newer version of "I Hurt Myself Today."
Yeah.
But the other, it's just like a piano. Or it's like a Is that ringing a bell?
Oh, yeah,
here?
yeah.
Just like some...
Like
and it's
3
just
of the
like,
same
I just remember
notes.
that, and then him slow walking, and I'm like...
That is
cool,
maybe about
but,
15% of the movie, is that, and then him walking in the dark.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I'll rewatch it when the next one comes out, throw it on. I'll probably rewatch the Dunes, too.
Fair enough. I got another one.
Well, that's good news.
Gladiator 2. First images popped up online featuring, I'm going to mess this up, Paul Mescal and the man, the myth, the legend. Paul Mescal. He plays Mr. Gladiator's son, Russell Crowe's son. So he's Gladiator 2.0.
I mean, who is he in real life?
Paul Mescal. He's in Normal People. Remember a couple weeks back, we're like 10 of the hottest and youngest single up-and-coming actors.
He was on, and we're like, who is that?
He's on that list. We got Denzel, Mr. Training Day himself.
Really?
Yeah. This cast, man, I'm actually getting excited for it.
Is he Digimon's, like,
I think he's the new emperor or something, because he's in the pics. He's looking regal AF, man. He's got an earring. He's looking, he's got the blue drapes. It's also got Pedro Pascal looking like a real gladiator. It's got Joseph Quinn, who they're together going to be fantastic for 2 of the 4 in there. And then, of course, it's got our man, friend of the show, personal friend of me, myself, and I, Digimon Hanzo in there, which I'm looking at this cast, and I'm like, yes, give me more. So,
yes.
Yeah, the pics look great. I don't know the story yet, but... From what I see, it's
got a son. It's a sequel.
Yeah, well, I mean, what? Yeah. He becomes a gladiator and he yells at the crowd and says, "Are you not entertained?"
Yeah. Are you not entertained? Yeah. So that means you said who's the emperor?
I think it's Denzel.
So he's gonna have a thing for his sister. Is that? Well, that was what I remember from the plot here.
But I did see a kind of a trivia about Gladiator 1, which was they were gonna put some product placement in the Gladiator, like, because sidebar here,
on the shield they'll have like a McDonald's logo on his, like, on the shoulder of his armor or something.
No, I mean, so like, I'll take you back to Gladiator times. Like, they actually used to have kind of product placements in the gladiatorial arenas, like, hey, try this wine, bucko, it's real good. And like, they were gonna do that in Gladiator the movie, and then they're like, I don't think people are going to actually believe that they did this, even though they did. So then they cut it out. Anyway, just a little.
So now they were going to do it, but then they cut it out.
Who knows? Then maybe they might do that in this one and be like, what products we got? You want a tiger?
Yeah.
We got tigers.
No one's going to believe that Subway was the number one sponsor for the Gladiator battles. Yeah. But it's what happened. That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's all I got. I thought that was noteworthy.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. But next, Chris, you been watching anything good? What you been watching?
Ooh, I watched a film.
Yeah.
We've talked about it many a weeks, many a times. And no, it ain't the sequel to Boy Meets World. No, it ain't the prequel to Girl Meets World.
Is it?
No, it ain't the trilogy of Westworld. We're talking Boy Kills World.
How was it? How was that movie?
I liked it, actually.
Really? Even with
I liked it quite a bit.
Really? I think, didn't you say it has a really decent, bad scores?
Like, it didn't have bad reviews.
It didn't make money. That's what it was.
It didn't make
That's
money.
What it was.
Yeah. But the best way I could describe it is kind of like a Scott Pilgrim. It's got the little silliness to it, but with the nice... It's not as good an action as John Wick, obviously, but it's got great action.
Yeah.
It's got the...
Skarsgård.
It's got Skarsgård, and it's got the guy from The Raid. So you got some good
fight
action.
scene. Okay.
So it's got a lot of good fight scene, nice action. It's pretty funny. I give that a 4 out of 5. It's my type of movie.
Nice. A quick 130 kind of deal, or
it might have even been a 150. I don't know. If it's a good movie, I don't mind if it's a little long here.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll look it up just to be sure. But I did watch it in 2 sittings because I got something else I had to do. But it was perfect for me. It's a 1 hour, 150 basically.
Very good.
So not bad.
Nice.
But yeah, still only made, I just see it now, only made $3 million. Deserves more.
Nice.
If I'm ranking it, it's definitely in my top 10 films for the year.
Okay.
I liked it quite a bit. I'd recommend. 4 out of 5 for me. And then I watched a movie called Family Affair. You heard of this?
Is this with Zachary?
Yeah,
Zachary Efron.
Yes.
And Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know anything about this, but I've seen the memes and I don't get it. So please enlighten me.
Yeah. It's not for I didn't like it. Let me just it's the movie you put on, your wife likes it or whatever. It's a Netflix original. But basically the concept is it's got the Ramona, aka
Jesus.
Kissing Booth.
Yep.
She's like a, what do they call, intern, like a personal
assistant?
Assistant for Zac Efron. He's a famous actor.
Does he play Zac Efron?
And Nicole Kidman is Ramona's mom, and Zac and Ramona's mom like each other and start dating, and Ramona don't like it, so all sort of chaos.
Do shenanigans ensues?
But I didn't think it was that great, and I like Zac, and you know,
yeah, big fan of the.
So I give that like a 2 and 2.5. I would go 2.5, but my wife and her mom liked it more than another movie I saw the day before, which is Signs. In preparation for M. Night.
Wait, sorry. They liked Zac Efron having an affair better than Signs?
Yes, they did.
Well,
not
I see
like
where their
Signs.
priorities lie. I get it.
Yeah, I know. It is a sign. Yeah, let's just say I put on Signs, and you know, in the 2000s, there's all the movies always had the long intros with like the star.
Oh, the credits before.
Yeah, like Spider-Man, they have like a 3-minute thing.
Yeah.
And half the time I'm like, is this fast forward to the end? Am I watching the end credits?
Yeah.
It's not quite that long, but it's, before we even got in the movie, my wife went up to go, get something. I hear her mom, she's on her phone. I hear like the dial tone, like she's FaceTiming someone. I'm like, it's been 30 seconds.
Just the biggest slap in the face. Times 2, because her mom was there too and did the same thing.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, man.
And so, yeah, they didn't like it. I'll save it for when I'm sure we'll talk more about M. Night coming up.
Certainly.
But they didn't like that, and they liked the Family Affair. Thought it was way better than Signs.
Is a Family Affair like, is it a rom-com, or is it one of those movies where...
Technically, it might be.
Is it?
I think it's supposed to be.
But you were kind of...
But it's not very romantic, and it's not very funny, if you ask me.
So you were Homelander in that one meme, just staring at the screen the whole time?
Yeah, basically.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's a perfect way to describe it. But
that's good.
how about you, Steve? You watching anything?
I haven't really been watching that much. I watched what we were going to talk about. I watched The Acolyte as a chore for the show. And then I didn't have really time to do much else because I went on an impromptu vacay with the fam. But I started watching a show called Suits on Netflix. It's about various lawyerings and all that kind of stuff. Bird lawyerings, yeah.
Yes.
No, that one's pretty. That's a chill watch. I more listened to it kind of on the drive there, but I like it. It's kind of a procedural. Have you seen it or heard of Suits?
I haven't.
Yeah, it's just kind of something you can throw on the background and listen. I love shows, lawyering shows where you can yell out objection and hearsay, all that nonsense. It's good stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been watching. But yeah,
nice. Well, should we dive into the main thing we've been watching?
Dive into the Bear. Now, I feel we need to just do a little bit of preface for those. We're talking about The Bear season 3, and some people might not have seen season 1 or 2. So, Chris, would you do the honors of giving us a quick little rundown of season 1 and 2?
Yes, and these are gonna be
Spoilers, yeah, they've been out
but
already.
it's like it's not really a show that's gonna really nothing's gonna jump out and spoil you.
It's not.
But basically, season 1, you got the main guy, Bear Carmy, played by
Jeremy Allen White.
Yes, which I remember before I seen the show, I'd like see random covers of it. And I feel like he's had a glow up because I just remember seeing it and I'm like, I just thought it was some show about some like dweeb high school, like this sickly looking man that like works at some fast food place. Like that's kind of what I assumed it was about. And I think you were the one that actually recommended I watch it. And it's not like that, I'll say.
Yeah.
He basically his brother was
John Bernthal,
the
Punisher,
Mikey, and they own like a family restaurant, and Mikey was running it, and Bear was out trying to be a real famous cook. He's going to the schools, learning the real nice intricacies of being a chef. And Mikey dies, so Barry comes and takes over the restaurant, basically. I think he left it his name, so he's trying to get this, I guess what it is, like a sandwich
it's an Italian
shop,
beef
I guess.
sandwich. It's just a real kind of hole in the wall, gross,
hole in the wall, and the place is like it's struggling to make ends meet. Pun intended.
Ooh, very good.
I thought that was pretty good, and so the season 1's more about like, all right, how can we save this place from going underground, because obviously we don't want everyone to lose their job, we don't want to lose our money, so it's just that it's a very chaotic that's kind of what makes the show is very it's imagine playing Overcooked
with a million F words a million times in my
but just lots of yelling and it just times that by 10. So season 2, they get the restaurant or the little hole in the wall, it's doing fine. Season 2, they want to take it to the next level where they actually have a nice like restaurant.
A fancy.
So,
they'll make Gordon Ramsay blush. With just
You come in there, they got the the dissolving cloud they put on the drink, and you got the nice looking shrimp that spells out SOS. Help me! I need your help. Call 911. Whatever it is,
Yeah.
And season 3 picks up after basically they get that place up and running, and the premise for season 3 is like, oh, we got a nice restaurant, we want to get a star, because that's what really, it's like verified on Twitter.
The coveted Michelin star.
Check. So that's basically it. Is that fair enough rundown?
No, you did a great job. I feel like without spoiling stuff, if you haven't seen The Bear and you are itching for some good, I would classify as more of a drama than dramedy. I understand it won some Emmys for comedy, which didn't seem appropriate because I was like, I don't think of this as a funny show. It's
I heard about that actually. What basically people think is it's a lot easier to win as a comedy. Like, I don't know exactly how it works. Does the producers just choose what
categories to put them in? Probably
categories to be, because it just like swept the floor in all the comedies. And those voters, they love dramas way more than comedies, so it's kind of like, all right, this is gonna win instead of so like it won. I think it won best comedy, best lead actor, actress, supporting actor. It just a lot of people were upset, and from what I heard, they're trying to force it not to be a comedy for this season. But I don't know if it'll actually, because you got the Ted Lassos and the Abbott Elementaries, and they're like, hey, what the heck, man? We're actually just a full-on comedy.
Yeah. So, I think it deserves a lot of praise. The first season was really good. I would say if I had to rank them, first season is like a 4.5. It's great stuff, really engaging. Season 2 is good, like a solid 4. And then season 3, I feel like it's definitely not a weak season, but it is the weakest of the three, I would say. What do you think?
That's true. I think everyone agrees with you there.
And again, it's not bad television. Like I was engaged for a lot of it. It's better than 90% of the schlock that's on right now. So like, it's got good characters. It's got, interesting enough premise. But yeah, I feel like it's not as good as the first two.
Yeah, I got them all pulled up on Rotten Tomatoes here.
Mm-hmm.
Season 1, 100% critic, 92% audience. Season 2, 99% critic, 93% audience. Season 3, 93% critic, 55% audience. Not a hit with the audience here.
Mm.
So basically, the scoring ranks how you do, like how you ranked it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch like season 1, wait a year, watch season 2, or did you watch season 1 and 2 at the same time?
I watched season 1 when it first came out, like on Hulu, and then I waited a year for season 2, and then like beginning of this year I watched them both again and prepped for this one. So, yeah, I didn't watch it till I think season 2 had just come out, and so we watched them season 1 and 2. So they're kind of blurred to me. I don't really remember which one is which, but I remember thinking they're both really good. Yeah.
I don't really know if I agree. They're both like a 4.5, somewhere around there. Season 3 is definitely a step down. I'd say if you compare it to a normal show, it's still going to be better, but you just had those high expectations. And to me, it really felt like nothing really happened season 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like imagine, you know how you'll watch a show like Lost or whatever, and they'll have like just random episodes in the middle of the season where it just seems like all right, we got to fill in. We told them we'd do 12 episodes. We'll do some about these people getting paralyzed by a snake or so, like that has nothing to really do with it. And it just felt like this whole season was a bunch of those.
Was one of those, yeah.
Because should we just like? It's not really anything to spoil because to me nothing really happens.
I say if you're itching for some good TV, watch it. And if you've already seen the first two, you've probably seen this one. So let's dive into some spoiler territory, eh?
Yeah. So like, the main thing for this is they're trying to get a star.
Mm-hmm.
And you still don't even find out by the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, like, how many episodes was it? 10.
Yes.
And I feel like maybe 2 or 3 of them episodes were really just like dragging. I was like, okay, let's get going. Especially
like the first couple, really.
I actually really liked the first episode. The first episode wasn't bad. It kind of acted as like a previously on, like a recap. It was very slow. It was very kind of like art housey. Almost no dialogue. It's like a music video, which was kind of cool. But it was pretty slow. Like it wasn't a great start to a new season.
My wife hated it.
Oh,
and she's got a great taste, as we've talked.
Yes.
And her mom is here. She hasn't seen any of the show, and we were watching the first episode. And there's probably like 5 minutes or whatever, just like no talking.
Unspoken,
and she was like,
him just doing stuff. Yeah.
And her mom was just like, are you just watching like a silent show? Like, what is this? Because it's just like him, flashback, him cooking and such. I didn't hate that as much as them.
Yeah.
But after, I think I watched 3 or 4 episodes, and my wife, she liked the first 2 seasons. She was just like, she did you go on without me here, like she kind of, she gave up after a couple. So I pushed through here. But to me, it didn't really pick up until like episode 5 or something, when John Cena pops up and there's like, something at least kind of exciting is happening. It just, it wasn't like bad. Like it wasn't something I would turn off and stop. Like I'm still going to watch season 4, but it just felt like it's not as exciting as the other seasons.
Yeah, I felt like the first 2 seasons really had like some really significant, not only story development but character development, where you're like, season 1, let's take Richie. Season 1 Richie was like a punk. You're like, I hate this guy, he's such a, but then you pull back those layers and you understand why he is the way he is, and season 2 he really comes into his own, and that was a treat to watch, right? And that was fun. And
I think he's like my favorite storyline of like.
Oh,
he's got that
definitely.
Jamie Lannister arc where you're like, I hate this guy in the beginning. Like, I want him to die. Why is he working here? And then my favorite scene, probably even episode, is that season 2 where he's training with the at the place, and they play that Taylor Swift song, and he's driving Love Story. I was just like, oh man, this
got me. That made me feel things.
That's the best scene in the whole show, best episode, if you ask me.
I would 100% agree. Yeah. So you had really good development there with those, and Carmi went through some stuff, and Sydney, all of them, and then it kind of just like plateaued really with this one, because at the end of season 2, Carmi had like a big fight with his girlfriend, and was like, he messed up a lot of stuff because he was focusing on his girlfriend at the same time as opening a restaurant, and was like, I can't do both. So he breaks up with her very dramatically, if you ask me. He's stuck in a fridge, and it's the whole thing, and it does not get resolved at all in this season. So it's like, well, gosh darn,
Yeah.
It's like,
they keep you would think you'd at least like talk to her, get something. Maybe they yell, but it's literally like,
they said, no, we need to focus on Jamie Lee Curtis telling us a story for 20 minutes straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so like some of those, I'd say my favorite episode of this season was actually the one with
Tina,
yeah.
There it is. I have the same note in my
which
thing here.
Normally, because I was literally thinking I was going to put a negative, because I'm like, I don't really care too much about a lot of these characters. Because like Marcus, I don't mind him, but I remember feeling like I wasn't going to go back and rewatch, like they did an episode on him where he goes with, eyebrows
to
kid
Copenhagen.
and Copenhagen and whatever. Like I remember like that's fine, but when I was watching this, I actually went back and watched the Richie episode, because I was like, I remember really liking this, so that was why it was fresh in my mind. But I was thinking, I was like, I don't really care. Like, I'm normally not a single episode focus one, but yeah, I remember thinking that Tina, like, it went, and I was like, oh, this is really cool, especially like when they show her at the talking with John Bernthal and getting all that.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, none of the episodes really stuck out to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think my biggest thing with this one was, in the first 2 seasons, they really set a precedent of what this show is. Like, it's high octane, like super stressful, fast paced, just like in your face, all this stuff. Your blood pressure is gonna be higher when you're watching this. And then season 3, you kind of just like didn't have really any of that.
Yeah.
And it was a little frustrating, but then again, there are, sometimes it needs to breathe as a show, and so I get it, but I'm also was like a little underwhelmed. And you mentioned it a little bit. There are a lot of cameos, including the man, the myth, John Cena.
Oh yeah,
in this. Some of the cameos worked for me. Some of them didn't. What did you think of seeing John Cena in there?
I thought it was fine. Like, I think he had a pretty funny line when they're like, "Get the duck." And he was like,
"Yeah,
I saw one over at the whatever park," and they're like, "No, what?"
yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
Yeah,
I didn't
thought
mind
it was funny, but like looking back, I was like, it kind of took me out just a little, because I'm like, those two guys would like always mention, "Hey, you look like John Cena." There's those 2 Joker guys. He's the one with the ponytail, the electrician one. They're the comic relief characters, But there were also a lot of good real life cameos, like real life chefs that were cameoing.
Like Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. Well, he was. Wait a second. Are you pulling?
I saw him. I'm not crazy. I saw him.
Because there's a bit in Abbott Elementary where they're like, "Hey, you're in The Bear." Bradley Cooper guest stars on that show, and they're like, "Hey, you're in The Bear." But he's also in another chef movie, so I think it was like a little tongue in cheek. He's in there for a second. But no, like real chefs from Chicago and all over are in, I think, like episode 9 or something, and they're like just talking about being a chef and stuff. And I was like, this is cool, but I'm like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, I mean, do you know any of the chefs? I don't actually. I only know Gordon and and the best chef of all, Guy Fieri.
Yeah. One of them I recognized from MasterChef. She's like a baker. Sorry.
Bakist? Is that when you're don't treat all of the bread equal, or what does that mean?
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. No, and then some of them are just like local chefs from Chicago. One of them was like the actual owner of the Beef, which is what the show, like the restaurant's based on, all that stuff. But yeah, I was like, okay, this is cool to have like a little nod, but like a cameo turned into like is this guy like a featured extra, or like he's really talking, you know? Like, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think my biggest qualm was that this season didn't really move the plot a whole lot, and I hate that it ended on like a kind of a cliffhanger, where it was like, all right, was it a good review? Wasn't it? There was like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like,
to me, it felt like it ended on like a mid-season finale, where it's like, oh, we're going to take a month and a half break and then we'll keep going. But
yeah,
because it wasn't like a real big cliffhanger to me. It's just like, oh, they finally got the review that they've been talking about, and we still don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't, like, it didn't really seem that crazy. Like season 1, I think the finale is like, oh, they find all the money in the cans or whatever. Yeah. Season 2, they finally get their restaurant open. This one, it's like, oh, remember that restaurant that Carmi used to work at? They're closing. Well, yeah. And then, oh, they got a review. We'll see how it is. Yeah.
Tune in next week on The Bear.
Yeah, that's like it didn't really seem like a season finale. It seemed like an episode or like a mid-season.
Yeah. And then I also have in my notes here that Ice Chips episode with her giving birth. I really feel like that whole thing was to set up that Jamie Lee Curtis is going to die next season, because you gotta create some emotional connection there. So like, I'm like, she's gonna die, no doubt in my mind.
Go ahead. Sorry,
I was just saying.
I'm sure what you have to say is gold.
Those cigarettes are gonna get her. Her punching those darts.
That alcohol.
All of it, all the above. They're gonna get her.
Well, I pulled a rookie mistake, and I wanted to see, I was like, how many episodes is this? So I scrolled down, and I saw it was like episode 10 was called like the funeral or something, and it was like another funeral or something was like the description, and I was like, I just spoiled. So the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, is this person gonna, like, I was like, I know someone's gonna die.
Someone's dying here. It was Marcus's mom or something, right?
Yeah, I was like, is it gonna be Jamie Lee Curtis? I was like, is the sister gonna die at childbirth? That's gonna be a little dark. You're like, the whole time it was doing an episode, I'm like, oh man, I hope it's not Richie or whoever. Yeah. But then it was just, it's literally just a restaurant closing. Like, I feel like they try to make it real emotional and sad, but I'm like, to me, maybe I'm just not a real sentimental guy. But like, it's just like a restaurant closing that they had a little flashbacks going to. It didn't really resonate with me, really.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed because I thought Joel McHale is back. He plays like a snooty, really uppity kind of chef who trained Carmi and was like a real piece of work, a real schoolyard bully, if you ask me.
Gave him ulcers and anxiety.
Mm-hmm. And Carmi finally comes face to face with him after years of seeing him, and he really like mad dogs him for a few good minutes, and then he goes up and talks to him, and he's like, Carmi's like, you really hurt my feelings there, pal. I didn't appreciate the way you treated me. And Joe McHale's like, all right. Yeah, good on you. And I thought for sure they were going to get a good review, and like the Bear, the restaurant's going to be back on top. You know, it's going to be flooded with good reviews. But Carmi, like, I thought he was going to attack Joel McHale in the bathroom, like beat him half to death, and just like, because you expect
I thought he was going to punch him or something.
And like, I thought that was going to be the like next season's challenge.
That would be a way better finale if you ask me.
Right? I could just see Carmi just slamming his head against the urinal or something, and you have this great successful restaurant, but Carmi's in jail. Or, something.
That'd be like a perfect ending. It's like, oh, great reviews, and that cuts with him mugshot. And they got a wait list, and people are like, well, what do we do now?
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway. But I do have some good things about it.
Yeah, me too.
I think this show has some fantastic editing. Like, especially in the first 2 seasons. Not so much in this one, but the first 2 seasons are really just like the editing puts you in a specific place. That is very unique to this show. I've never seen it in any other kind of show or movie where it's like when it's in your face, fast paced, it's just like split seconds, like you feel the anxiety, and the editing does a great job of that. But also on the flip side, the editing when it's time to calm down and relax, like it really takes its time, and you can, it makes you feel things. And what's it called? The second season, the dinner scene is a prime example. I think it really shows the power of the editing in that sequence. So editors, good job. I know they're big fans of the show. But and then along with that, everyone does really good acting. Like there's no like, oh, that guy's a really bad actor or whatever. All the actors are really good on them. Hilarious comedians. Good job winning those comedic awards. What do you got in terms of positives?
I agree. It's a really good show. Like even the season we're comparing it to the other 2 seasons, but if you were just to watch this as not comparing it, it's still a really good show. I think not as good. I'd probably give it like a 3.5 still, something like that.
Sure.
And I think it's a comedy. I mean, technically it is. And there's just some random parts that I'm just like, I laugh harder than I do in random show. Like, maybe it's just because you're not really expecting it. Because, like, comedies, they're like, oh, zinger, zinger, zinger. It's just, like, constant. And this one, it's just, like, randomly. I'll feel like that's the funniest thing I heard in a while. Like, when they were... are they like cousins or brothers? The 2 like handymen?
Yeah.
They're like going to the hospital and to talk to
Claire
to win her back for Carmi or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's like one of them shows up later. He's like, sorry, took a wrong turn, took a few wrong turns. There's this guy at a table and he was cut open like a lot. And she's like, did you walk into an operating room? It's just like things like that where I'll rewind on those. I got to watch that again. Just like a lot of random funny things. It's a good show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's it's just hard not to compare it to the other 2 seasons. But I agree with you. Fantastic editing. It's got great use of like music and especially like doing their flashbacks. They got nice music there.
Yeah.
But,
so I think you mentioned your favorite episode, the one about Tina called Napkins. Was that your favorite of the season? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I would say so as well. And fun fact about that, Tina's husband in that show is actually played by her real-life husband, David Zayas.
Really?
Yes. And it was directed by Ayo Edebri.
Is that who I think it is?
Is it?
Is that the girl from The Bear?
Yeah. It starred Wicked, too. Yeah.
Wicked,
no, she did. What else is she in, Chris?
She was in Dune 2, I think.
Yeah.
Or Dune 1. I think she died in Dune 2.
Yeah.
Nice.
She directed a couple of episodes of this season, so I know just that one for sure. But who would you say is the best character this season?
Ooh, this season, I'd say in general my favorite character is Richie, but I feel like
he
this
didn't get much screen time this season.
Yeah, they didn't really do him well.
Yeah, it's weird because like there's defining moments of the first 2 seasons, but you're like, I can't really think of really defining moments, and like it seems like everyone was there, but nobody had like a lot of screen time at the same time, you know?
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of Carmy, obviously.
But he
I guess
doesn't do
I'd
much.
still go Richie, but because it's like,
All right, fair enough.
I'd say they focused, if you go in, it's probably 35% Carmy, 35% or 30% Sydney, and it's just like 5% to everyone else, pretty much. Maybe throw like 15% Richie or something, but
Yeah.
Sydney's a good, I like Sydney too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they really drew out her like, oh, what am I gonna do here?
Yeah.
And
Do you think she's gonna?
and she still doesn't. I thought for sure like finale she's starting a new job or whatever at the place. I
Yeah.
think she still is going to,
You think?
but they really drew it out for like what 5 episodes of her just like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, and also if I was that guy, sorry for those of you
I'd
who
be
don't know, there's a guy, a competing chef who's like, hey, I'm gonna open my own restaurant. Sydney, do come work for me as my partner. And she's like, all right, I'll let you know. 5 episodes later, she's like, nah, I don't know.
He's
And
like,
if
I
I was
really
that guy,
like to know.
Yeah, if I was that guy, I'd be like, all right, let's. I need an answer like now. So like, come on.
He's literally looking for like places already,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, I'll let you know.
We've all heard that in the dating world. You know, when I was single.
I'll get back
Hey.
to you. I heard that from many employers back in
Yeah.
the day. Oh, yeah, we'll reach out. Don't you
We have
worry.
your resume on file. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I think that's all I got. For
Yeah,
it.
same here.
Yeah.
What do you give? What did you say you gave this season? Letterbox?
I think I gave it like a 3.5.
3.5. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think if you're listening this far, thanks for listening. And sorry we were late for a day. And I think next week we're gonna comment. Let us know what you want us going
Yeah,
to hear
let us know.
talk about, and we'll try to talk about it. But yeah, if that's all you got, be sure to follow us on our Facebook group, Twitter, LinkedIn, bloody Instagram, YouTube, all that jazz. Say hi to your mom for me. What else you got, Chris?
That's all I got here. Say hi, say bye, say sly. That's the rhymes. That's a thing. Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah, but thanks for listening. Let us know what we should watch next and review. Should Steve go watch the midnight premiere of Longlegs? Let us know.
Yeah, I will definitely do that.
Yeah. Anyways, so thanks for listening. Talk to you next week. Bye.
Things like stale.
Popcorn, stale popcorn.
Popcorn.
This is the
Stale popcorn.
Popcorn.